Today we have another bike that we are building up. This is actually my dad's bike and we are starting from a completely stock format. This is the third bike that I'm building up in this channel, so we're pretty used to what needs to be changed and what parts work and what part doesn't. Before we began modifying everything, I let my friend James ride the bike in stock form. Now James doesn't have any background in biking, so for him, he said the stock Surron felt pretty good. But obviously for me, coming from mountain biking background and also a dirt biking background, it just wasn't living up to the standard. Now just like all my past builds, the fork was the part that needed to be changed the most. Ideally, I wanted to put another Fox 40 like I've done in the past builds. Unless you're gonna buy a brand new one, used Fox 40s are becoming more and more hard to come by. After searching the web for a long time, I couldn't find a good deal on a Fox 40. However, I ran across this X Fusion RV1. It was a brand new shock that's been sitting in the warehouse for a long time. So this is a brand new 2014 X Fusion RV1. The reason I chose this fork is that it uses coil, and in the past I had a friend who used this fork and it felt really good. The best part is because this is brand new, the steer was uncut, which meant I could cut it to however long it needs to be. And along with the fork, we went with a Joystick direct mount stem and also a 3-inch rise ProTaper handlebar. With the stock handlebars being so low, these handlebars will change the ergonomics quite a bit. And also you need a spacer between your stem and the fork crown to give enough room for the headlight. You can either buy spacers or make your own out of metal tubes like I did. The brakes were upgraded to Sram code brakes. I covered this in my other YouTube video where I showed how we installed the foot brake for the rear brake using the foot brake lever and then regular Sram code caliper. It seemed like a lot of people couldn't understand why we went with the foot brake, but it's just personal choice and we'll just leave it at that. And the stock foot pegs were replaced with Dirty Bike Industries extra wide foot pegs. These pegs give you a lot more stability when you're going through the rough stuff. I'm very happy with it. We also put in 58 teeth sprocket for more torque, since this bike is not going to be ridden on the street, but mostly on the trail. If you're going to ride on the street though, I recommend sticking with the stock sprocket. And lastly, I'm going to change out the skid plate to a stronger skid plate. If you hit the stock skid plate with anything, it will get bent and it's super thin. I wouldn't trust my stock skid plates to protect my motor and all the wiring inside. So my favorite skid plate is this race spec Surron skid plate. This is actually a very high density plastic. We've been using the skid plate on 2 other bikes so far for about 6 months, and these have been very durable. So over the 6 months, I've had a lot of hits on my plastic skid plate. They are extremely durable. Let me show you how terrible the stock skid plate is. The stock skid plate is super thin. Alright guys, I just got finished installing the skid plate. That's gonna be it for this bike. I do have a brand new rear shock coming right now, but because of COVID, it's taking a few months. But for now, this is it. Thanks for checking out this build, and please stick around for more Surron content.